Well, welcome to Brad's Boredom Busters and Cat Sanctuary. Hey, we're here today because I thought I'd show you how I tied up a rainbow spiral for the Pride Party. And yep, I know, another rainbow spiral. Everybody does them. And yeah, it's kind of common, but what I did with this one is, I think, a little different. I like the way it turned out. So yes, it's a rainbow spiral, but we only use 3 primary colors, but I do use 6 dyes. And so come along with me and I'll show you how I do it. Well, welcome back, all my Buster buddies, and hi, YouTube. So this is Brad's Boredom Busters, your tie-dye art channel. Yes, I'm your big kahuna, Brad, and so today we are going to do a rainbow spiral. Real simple project, nice beginner project. Like I say, we are going to use 6 different colors, though, to achieve this rainbow. So what you need for this project is a 100% cotton t-shirt in white. You need to pre-wash that first, and then soak it in soda ash solution for at least 20 minutes, and then take that to your washer and spin out as much moisture as you can. I've done that. My shirt's waiting for me over here. The other items you'll need for this project, well, if you ever saw my video on creating a spiraling tool, that's what I'm going to use here today, and I'll show you how I make it just briefly here in this video as well. And then you'll need some masking tape, a hemostat, and a washable marker to lay out your die pattern. And that's pretty much it, so pretty simple. All right, so let's head over to the work table and let's get this all tied up. All right, Busters, so here we are at the work table. Like I said, my shirt's been prepped already, pre-washed, soaked in soda ash, spun out. It's just slightly damp. So this is my spiraling tool, and I've seen in other videos, other tie-dyers use similar pieces of equipment that they've purchased. I think the ones that they had before was a microwave cover for, to put over food as you're microwaving it in the microwave. Anyway, but they say that's discontinued. Well, I found this, and this is just a plastic food cover lid, just to kind of, if you're out at a picnic, you want to put it over your food to keep the flies off. I got this at the Dollar Tree, and I just simply cut a hole in the center of it, and it works pretty much the same way as the other spiraling tools that I've seen other YouTubers use. I think tie-dyeing should be fun, accessible for everyone. I really aim my videos toward beginner to intermediate tie-dyers, and I've seen other YouTubers take great pains at making perfect pleats in their spirals, but like takes forever. Well, the nice thing about this is you get pretty much even height pleats on your spiral, but it's just quick and easy, and like I say, it's accessible and makes it fun, and I think that way everyone can have a good result. So that's why I like to use this. And so what you'll need then is a hemostat, and that's, you put that in the center that you made the hole, grab some fabric, and then just start twisting. I usually just like to go clockwise, and I just let the fabric start gathering up on its own till you get to a certain point. And then the next step in making, I think, nice pleats is you take and pull the fabric kind of out and then bring it around. So that kind of makes tight little pleats that way too. So just pull and twist, pull and twist. And so what you'll want to do now is just keep doing that until you kind of get as much gathered underneath the plate cover here. All right, and so once you have that all spiraled up, next thing you want to do, just kind of hold down on your plate cover, and you don't want to just pull straight up with the hemostat because that could tear the fabric, because now it's rather tight in the middle. It's got a good hold. So untwist it just a bit in the middle, and then it will release like that. All right, then you can set that aside. And now we've got, this is kind of the tail of the shirt facing me, and I like to have that part facing me for this next step. And you can kind of straighten out some of your pleats before there. Anyway, one thing I didn't mention is a little binding clip. I don't like to use rubber bands on my spiral because they can kind of create odd shapes to it. I saw another YouTuber use masking tape just to bind it up around this edge. I also have seen it done with rubber bands around the edge. I find that a little more difficult as well. I think this is easiest, at least in my opinion. So, but because the shirt is damp, that's why I use the binding clip. The tape isn't going to adhere to the damp fabric. So just grab one of the pleats and then grab the masking tape as well. And then the other thing I like about this method is now you can really kind of tighten up this, so you can pull on the tape and start coming around. And you can start really, cinching it up nicely, so you have a good tight spiral as well. And that way it holds together nicely, so you can kind of manipulate it, turn it over, move it to a curing tub without it actually falling apart. And then just overlap the masking tape and let it adhere to itself. And then after you have it adhered to itself, you can remove the binding clip. All right, and so that is it. But see, it's a nice, tight, clean spiral. All right, so the next step, well, we're just about ready to do the dye. But like I said, we're only using, well, we're using 6 colors, but just 3 primaries. And so the way I like to lay it out is have the kind of the shirt tag. I know that's the top collar. So I'll come straight off of there, straight down to me, and then just try and create 3 equal pie shapes. That's pretty close. It's not that critical because when we apply the dye, we're actually going to let them bleed over to each other to create secondary colors. But and we're going to do similar things to the back. So mark on the side of the tape kind of where your lines hit on the outside, then flip it over and do the same thing here. And in truth, once you get the dye on here and it's saturated enough, you'll see where it is, once you flip it over. So this is just if you feel more comfortable, having guidelines, and that's quite all right. All right, so let me get set up to do the dye, and we're almost finished. See, this project goes pretty quick, so I'll be right back. All right, Busters, so we're all set up to do our dye. So let me run over the colors we're going to use on this. I'll tell you what we're putting on the first side first, then when we flip it over, I'll tell you what we're doing over there. So on this side, we're going to do bright yellow here, and then we'll do fuchsia red here and turquoise here. And then when we flip it over on the opposite side that we've applied those colors, we're going to go deep yellow, Chinese red, and azure blue. All right, so let's start applying the dye. And like I said, you can run a little wide of your marks here because we do want blending to get those oranges, those greens, those purples. So that'll give us our rainbow effect. And I like to start applying kind of up close so that way I don't flood too much into other areas that I don't want it to be, and I can control how much we get into the center of the spiral too. So let's start applying our dye. And one thing I do recommend for this also, you can saturate this side more than the other side because you don't want the darker colors taking over the whole pattern. All right, so there's the first side. So now we can flip it and apply our other colors on the other side. You see what I said earlier about, about marking the lines. If you get enough dye, you can see exactly where you applied it. So I'd say it's just, it makes you more comfortable to apply lines, and by all means, go ahead and do so. All right, so now we do our darker colors on this side, so which would be our deep yellow, Chinese red, and azure blue. So let's get on with those colors. And as I said earlier, I recommend don't saturate this side too much, but you do want to get enough dye in there, but you don't want it to take over the lighter colors. All right, so now one other little hint I'd be happy to give you is, well, before you put this in your curing tub, flip it over again and make sure the dark colors are on the bottom because you don't want, gravity can either work for you or against you. If you leave it with the dark colors on top, then they're going to get pushed down into the lighter colors, and that may not give you as nice of an effect as if you turned it over and put the lighter colors on top and then let the gravity hold down the darker colors. So that's just my little suggestion from me to you. All right, so now this can go in the curing tub for 24 hours. And after 24 hours, we will take this out and put it in the laundry sink, and we'll rinse it out. We'll start with a cold water rinse to flush out the soda ash solution, and then turn it up to hot to flush out any dye that hasn't bonded with the shirt. And then after that, it'll go in a hot water wash with detergent and Synthropol, which is a professional textile detergent. And you can pick up any of these tools, materials, and chemicals that I use in my videos in my affiliate links below. If you purchase those through me, that helps out my channel, so I'd really appreciate it. All right, and so then after it's all washed and dried, we'll bring it back in here and we'll do the reveal. All right, so we'll see you then. Thanks for watching. All right, my Buster buddies. Hey, here's our rainbow spiral. It came out great. Yep, you can see how you end up with the greens and the purples, and all you're using is the primary colors. But then, I use the deep yellow, which kind of looks orange, but it gives nice texture, with the yellow and the orange. And then you've got the different colors here with the fuchsia red and the Chinese red, and then the turquoise and the azure blue. So yeah, this is a real nice pattern. I love this color combination. The blue did run a little bit. It kind of crept into the yellow here, but beyond that, like I said, I mentioned it earlier in the video, make sure that you don't oversaturate because, yeah, the colors can creep around a bit. But, I had a little bit of that here, but beyond that, the center of it looks really great. You get all the colors right there in the middle, and that's what I'm trying to achieve with this pattern, and it really works out. It looks really good. Hey, I hope you liked this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you think this is a really cool pattern, share it around. That helps me out as well. And you've made it to the end of this video, so you must like what you see. So, hey, go ahead and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so you don't miss any more upcoming videos that are really cool like this one. And don't forget about the affiliate links. They're down in the description below. And hey, beyond that, if you want to support my channel, I do have a super thanks active, so you can use that. That helps me out as well. All right, thanks for watching. Love all my subscribers. Peace out, baby, and go have fun tie-dyeing.